Cool, so back at it, and let's create this green gizmo that goes at the point here where it says this gate exit location. Again, if you wish, you can actually skip this part, because instead of like adding a low poly green person like that, you could do it if you navigate to your third person blueprints, and then if you were to open your character, click on viewport, and then on your character, if you press the mesh, you can press on this skeletal mesh and navigate to the mesh. So you could actually use this mesh instead of my low poly representation. I already mentioned to you, I like my representation better because it's color coded. It is a good indicator for me, and it's incredibly lightweight. I don't want to be spawning these 18 megabytes 90k triangles character. I want to just be placing my own little gizmo. It's silly because this is editor only, so if I drop into game it disappears, but I just like it, and maybe you like the idea of it, so I'll show you how I made it. So first off, I right click on the mannequin that I just navigated to, and I'll say asset action export, and I will export it on my desktop in a folder, and it's called Escape Queen Simple. And I leave these two the way they are. Next, I head into Blender. Inside of Blender, I make a general scene. I select the cube and delete it, as it always goes. And in here, I'm going to import the mannequin. Cool. So the forward vector, even though it appears like this, should be X. So I will select the root, and I'll select this, and I'll rotate it by 90 degrees by pressing R. I will click on this and then this to hide that. And now this is kind of silly, but I can create an icosphere, and I lower it to 1. I move it up and I place it as a head like so. Then I do Shift A to add new, and I add a cube, and I scale it down by S, and I place it there. Now I isolate it and I move it down like so. And I make the torso a bit larger like this. Then I'm going to add another cube, and I make it small like that. And this one is for the feet, and I want to go into edit mode, E to extrude upwards, move inwards. And I kind of like want to know which way is forward. So for the feet, I'm gonna do that. It's like low poly programmer art. It's super silly, but it serves exactly the purpose that I need. And this I'm going to kind of like select and then add mirror. I pressed here on the modifiers and then on the y-axis like so. And I isolate in here, I go in edit mode and I do Shift D and then Z to scale up. And I move things out. I isolate again. Maybe I'll select the body and this, and I'll select everything. And this I'm going to rotate on the red axis, like so. Do it like that. Extrude. Bind myself on this axis. Then select, hover over this and L, and then rotate the entire thing, like so. Select that, go there, scale down, rotate, extrude, rotate, and here do that, rotate in some way, and that's the hand. And it is silly, but it's exactly what I want. It's just a really good indicator. Cool, and now I'm going to delete the queen, and there it is. That's our like character. Maybe I'll do that. Perfect. And I select it all. Well, I select this part and I apply the modifier. I select down, Alt, and I join. And then I apply all transformations, and I check in face orientation that everything is fine and there's no red. There isn't. If there is, I select it all in edit mode, Alt N, and then recalculate outside. Cool. And now this I'm going to call SM Dummy tooth, and I'll do shade flat just in case. Actually, I'll add it like shade auto smooth, and then here I'll apply. So it turns it into hard edges like that. I want the blue hard edges. And then I'll do file, export FBX. I'll do it in the same folder, and I'll say SM Dummy tooth. Selected object. Geometry stays as it is, export. Cool. Go back in here, and now in the tutorial folder that we've made, in geometry, I will import. All the settings can stay as they are. There, I think, is one that says create materials, import materials here, and I'll take it off because I don't need that. I'll open that up, and there it is. I'll save that. And here I'll navigate into the blueprint now. And the way we're gonna do that is in the viewport, I will drag the dummy and add it. I'll put it to static as usual. I'll compile, I'll save. In the dummy, just to be on the safe side, I'll scroll down and I will say that collision is no collision, save. In here, I will also scroll down and collision, no collision, compile. Now I want to move that to the point itself and tell it to always be there. So for that, I'm going to go to the construction script. And this SM Dummy tooth, I'm going to say player, I pressed F2 to rename it, and I will say player point vis for visualization 1. Cool. And then I'm going to copy it and call the other one 2. And I'm going to drag it. And here, after the change location of collision sphere, I'm going to drag everything to make myself some space in this amazing construction script. And I'll drag vis1 and I'll say set relative location and rotation. And I'll connect it to this. And I want this to be at this gate exit location. So let's find that. This gate exit location, there it is, get, right click, split, so and so, compile, copy all of this, paste it here, change point vis 1 to 2, change this gate exit location to another level, another level exit location. So this is in reference if we're teleporting to another level, which we haven't yet built up the functionality fully, but we'll do it in a moment. But why not make it work? And connect that to that. Move things even a bit further. Put some order to this madness. And here I will select it and comment and say gives the two transform variables referring to this gate exit location, another level exit location, a 3D gizmo representation, a low poly dummy that is visible in editor. And by the way, me mentioning that, make sure that when you click on the dummy, it then has hidden in game, okay? So this hidden in game, this tag, where is it? I lost it. Let's do it again. Under rendering hidden in game, that is what makes it so it disappears when we're playing. And there it is. So there's my dummy. And now the only thing is there are two, right? So let's say that I was teleporting to another level. And that other level here, by the way, I've loaded 2 levels. Let's say that that other level is this, right? And I wanted to teleport like over here. What I would do is I would move this point over there, right? And that's how my teleporter works. Like, I will show you how to do this setup with multiple levels in a minute, so don't worry about it. But yeah, essentially, if we are teleporting in the same level, it's going to be this one. If we're teleporting in another level, it's going to be this one. That's why over here I have floating orange. So that is why colors are important to me. Green indicates I'm teleporting to this level. Orange indicates I'm teleporting outside. So let's make those colors. In the tutorials, in the materials folder, we have parent maths, and we have created the math parent blockout. We made this ages ago in one of the first tutorials in the series, one of the Blender tutorials. So like revisit it and make one yourself or copy of what you're seeing on the screen right now. And then right click and create material instance and call it math blockout green tooth. And let's move that into the materials folder itself, because this is not a parent, this is a child. Open it up, base color, something green, like so. Save, navigate to it. We go here, we select this point and we scroll up and we give it the green. There we go, and I think I hate that. So what I did next was I give it metallic and roughness, and the metallic I put something higher like that, and then I put it like this. Because it's just a visualization. Well, no, I kind of like it. I mean, it's overly obvious, but like, hey, what the heck? It's not visible in game. So let's keep it to that. And then to this I navigate and I duplicate, and I call it orange, and we give it an orange color. It's yellow. Save, navigate here, select, paste, save, and that is the orange. That is not very orange. I want it more orange. Not that it matters, but why not? We do this for fun, so let's do it in a way we like it. There we go. Perfect. Save. And let's close this. So that's that done. Next up, let's see, like this indicator is really useful now because we know where to place it and we will not like end up like colliding and stuff like that. So it's just cool. And then by default, the other one will always be in there, but we can move it in a moment. So let's go back to blueprinting. That's not a word, but I just made it so. And let's create the functionality where if we have two persistent levels like this, sorry, one persistent level that holds everything, and inside two levels like so, we can unload one, load the next one, and vice versa, and that happens as we teleport. So we go into the blueprint and we go into the event graph. By the way, our construction script now is fully done, finally. And here in the event graph, first off, we need to go up here and fix our logic for get partner level to go to. So what we want to do here first is obviously perform a check if stuff is valid. So we want to drag our level to go to get, and then we want to do is valid soft object reference, and if it is, then we can perform stuff, and that stuff will be, we want to get this loads another level boolean, and we want to set it, and we want to set it to yes. That is the condition that we were creating here, by the way. So when that is true, we want to get the default scene root, and we want to get its world transform, get world transform. So we're getting a reference of like the gate we're currently in, and then we want to get the another level exit location, which now that we made the stuff in Blender is easy to visualize. We're essentially getting this. We're getting the orange, right? Because in this case, we're saying like, we want to unload this level, and the moment it unloads, we want to load this one and we want to teleport here, because let's say that there was a gate here. And with that, we do another compose for transforms, and in the A, the lower one goes, in the B, this one goes. Make sure it's in that order. And now the exit location partner here, we want to set, and we're setting it to this. And now that should be everything. We have the logic, we're setting it up. And let's say that here I clicked on this and I said that we want to go to a level instead of to a location. So with me saying that, essentially it says that we'll be teleporting to here, to another level exit location. It will not work because we don't have references to levels and we're doing checks. So it should, yeah, see it says no exit partner is set. Because next up we'll need to say level to go to and level to unload. But before we do that, let's scroll down here and see here we created this load level. And if I double click on it, it leads me here. We need to expand this logic now because a moment ago we were kind of ignoring it. So let's do all of that. We drag from here and we say load stream level by object reference. Make visible after load should be on. And the reference here should be level to go to. Get like so. Next up, we want to call a function to do stuff on the UI, but we're ignoring that because it will be for another chapter of the video, but it will be like the vortex that shows up on screen. And after that, we do a delay of 0.1 just for sanity check. And now we want to unload stream level by object name. And it is essentially we're unloading the current level, the level to unload. So we get like so. And that's everything really, like we don't need anything else here because that's everything that there is to the logic. I will comment and I'll say if dev u has picked to teleport to a new streaming level instead of a location in the existing level, then load that streaming level into the persistent level. This is important and I'll explain in a moment. Then enable UI loading elements. That doesn't exist yet, we'll build it up. Then unload the current streaming level, which is the level the player is. Cool. So this should now work, and with you setting different levels here and having the right set of levels, it should be all fine. But I will explain, if you give me a moment, what I mean by proper setup. But before that, let me just show it to you. So level to unload is the current one, which in this case I've named Apexis Tower level. And the level to go to is I have created level example 001. Bear with me, I'm just showcasing it to you, showcasing that it works, and then I will create a level setup for you that will do this magic, because I'm aware that you don't have it. So we changed this here to door functionality type to a level, and we have the references. I walk in, and it unloads the old level, and it teleports me here. And my location is not great. Let's move that up so I don't get stuck. But you see that it works. And the only problem that I have is I haven't actually put a gate to take me back. Like ideally there I should be finding myself at the end of a gate. I mean, I could always just go around here because I have stuff. No, I don't apparently. That's interesting. Now that the teleport actually works and you get the option to teleport to another level, let's make a bunch of examples with levels where it actually does that. So in the tutorial, in your root, create a new folder and call it levels. I mean, you probably already have one, but that is fine. And I create a new level and I call it tutorial persistent. And then I'm going to create another level, and I'll call it tut level 001. And I'm going to go inside of it. It's going to be completely black, I believe. Yes. So here I will do window environment light mixer. And here, look at this, create directional light, boom, create sky atmosphere, boom, create volumetric, boom, and create skylight and create fog. And yeah, that way we get all of the actors here. I believe that I have the third person map that you also have, this one, because you made your template from this. So go in it and just copy the floor, Control C, then go back to your level 001, paste, and now we have floor, and this is the floor of level 1. And now duplicate this level. I select then Control C, Control V, and it auto renamed it to 2, which is wonderful. Save selected. In number 2, I'm going to move it to the side, like over there. And here in number 2, I'm also going to add basic, and then I'll add shape, sorry, and I'll add like a cone. Because otherwise we're not gonna know what level is what. So the level with the cone is our second level. There we go. You can do that as well. Go back in level 1, and here add basics, no, shapes, cube, and just plop it down there. Not sure why an empty level would have 10 FPS, but whatever. Probably needs a restart of the engine. So yeah, now we have this. And now what I can do is, in this level 1, I will add myself a blueprint like so, which is my gateway. And I'll save it like this for the moment being. I'll say that door function type is to a level, and text partner doesn't exist. Now it's fine. So now I want to go back to the levels folder, and I want to open the tutorial persistent, okay? So you open your tutorial persistent, and with it open, you go to window and then levels in order to get this menu out, and you drag to level 01 in, and it loads it for you. There we go. So in tutorial persistent, we have now tooth level 01, and you drag tooth level 02, and it loads it as well. And the lights went crazy because there are 2 directional lights, but that doesn't really bother us for now. And now what I'm going to do is I will select tooth 002 to be highlighted like that, and then I'll copy this, and me copying it now placed it into the tooth 002. And I will rotate it like so, move it there, and that now is my exit essentially. And here I cannot click that and click this because they are in different levels. This is not how we created this to work. Instead, I make sure that I tell it to be to a level, and level to go to, this one I want to take it to level 2, and I want to unload itself 01. While the other one, I want to take to level 01 and to unload itself, which is 02, which immediately fixes my graphics. But now I need to move another exit location, which is essentially this orange. I need to move it to be relatively in front of the other gateway in order to create the illusion that I'm being teleported from one of them to the other. That is just how we designed our gateways to work. And here I do the same for this one, and I move it so. And so. And now that's done. If I hit play, I can go from one to the other, but there is a little problem. If I hit play, it actually just ends up black like this. That is because with me hitting play on this persistent level, it doesn't actually start with tooth level 001, which is what I imagine you would want and expect. So let's fix that. So in the tutorial persistent, with it open, click on world settings, and here in game mode override, make sure that you have your template default that you created with the project that will be third person game mode. That way everything loads and you start as a player like so. You're just going to be in darkness for a moment. So with that first done, next up you want to select here and say open level blueprint. And from here in the event begin play, we drag load streaming level. Drag load streaming level by object reference. And in this case, we want the 001 that we made, the 2001. And compile, hit save. And in the tutorial persistent now, I can actually just click on the eye to hide the other one. And it looks like this. And I can hit play. And there I am. Everything as you expect. And now I can walk into this. And it teleports me. And it unloaded the level. And it loaded this one. And you can actually see it if you're paying attention to the levels UI element where it changes from 01 to 02. And now it changes from 02 to 01. And that's how the teleportation from one to another works. I could, if I wanted to, customize my visual. They don't need even too much in color. Let's say that this is going to be red. Play, and then hit save. Save all, and then play. Yes, cool. And yeah, now this is going to be red, and I go in, and yeah. You actually saw it there on load. Did you see it in a split second? It is actually perfect that you can see the loading and unloading. I love it. There you go. Because we're finished. The functionality, the blueprints are done. You have this teleportation between levels. You have teleportation in the same level. But next I want to create the screen going dark and then a vortex playing for like a fixed amount of time, for like a second. The vortex gets removed from the screen, you get teleported. And that actually makes it look cooler, more polished, and visually more impressive, but it also fixes this issue of like the player seeing the loading and unloading of assets. So yeah, next up, essentially, we will create this on the screen. Thank you very much for watching. So I think I've messed up in this level example. Thankfully we have GitHub. I think I've deleted stuff from one